Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a look at a new Lucario card. It is coming out in Full Metal Wall in Japan. It is coming out in Unbroken Bonds outside of Japan. And it has been translated for us by the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net. But I suppose the most important question here is, what does it actually do? Also, right, this is coming in the same set as Lucario and Melmetal Tag Team GX. I know it's a metal themed set, but Lucario's getting some love here. So we start off looking at the basics. It's got 130 HP. This is really nice because it puts you just out of range of stuff like Buzzwole and Zoroark. The weakness to fire should be a problem because of Blacephalon, but you know, they're going to be getting a fairly easy one-hit KO anyway. And the resistance to Psychic is going to be very handy if Garbodor ever makes a comeback. And I'm sorry, but at some point, Garbodor's got to make a comeback. It's too gosh darn good. It's fallen out of favour, but it's coming back, mark my words. The retreat cost of 2, not ideal. The fact that it is a metal Pokemon, however, somewhat ideal. You've got Delmise to do a little bit of extra damage. You've got Mount Coronet to get your energy back. Just earlier today, I showed you Malane, which lets you discard 2 metal energy from your hand and then get a trainer card back from the discard pile into your deck, which is not the kind of thing that most decks have the ability to do. So that's kinda cool. Not to mention you're hitting weakness against stuff like Sylveon and Gardevoir Tag Team GX, which incidentally is crushing over in Japan at the moment. And we could also mention here that the lovely little fact that Metal have got so many ways to reduce damage done to them at the moment. Metal Frying Pan, reduce damage by 30 and take away your weakness. Metal Core Barrier, which only lasts for 1 turn but reduces damage done to you by 70. And let's not forget that Lucario and Melmetal Tag Team GX's GX attack reduces damage done to your Metal Pokemon by 30 for the remainder of the game. It's a good time to be a metal Pokemon. Full Metal Wall is a good set for metal Pokemon. But what about the attacks here? Now, first attack, 1 colorless energy, 40 damage. I actually really like this. I think this is a really nice attack. As weird as it is, I really do think this is a pretty good attack. Because you're hitting numbers here. And it doesn't have to be in a metal deck. So straight away, you're getting a one-hit KO on an Alolan Vulpix, and bearing in mind, right, Alolan Vulpix is seeing a huge amount of play here because of how good Alolan Ninetales is, and I've mentioned it in a whole bunch of videos. Alolan Vulpix to search your Pokemon, Alolan Ninetales to search stuff like Rare Candy. Stage 2 decks are loving it. And then, of course, you're KOing Routes, which is really good because a whole bunch of Gardevoir decks are playing Routes. And then you're getting a KO on Snubbull, and we're seeing quite a lot of Granbull decks running around at the moment. So for 1 colorless energy, which means it can be put into any deck whatsoever, you're getting KOs on a whole bunch of really good evolving Pokemon. Alolan Vulpix, Route, Snubbull, these are Pokemon that see quite a lot of play. And you can be playing this in a fighting type Lucario deck. Now, we all know that Lucario GX is pretty good at the moment and sees a little bit of play, especially with stuff like Zoroark. So there's absolutely nothing to stop you just whacking this in. It doesn't even take up one of your 4 Lucario GX slots because it's got a different name to Lucario GX. Now, we do also have the Lucario from Burning Shadows, but it's not particularly good. I think you're probably going to be relying here on Lucario GX. I should mention we've also got the Lucario from Ultra Prism, which lets you search for any card if you've got a Garchomp in play, which still sees play here and there. People still like playing it. It's still quite a popular deck for League and such. It's just not proven to be a great deck. But the thing is, if you're ever playing a Lucario, and there are a bunch of Lucario out there to play, 1 colorless energy, 1 of these, you're KOing evolving basics. But then, of course, if you're willing to play Delmise, you could really go nuts here. Now, with Delmise, 3 of them and a choice band, you're hitting 100 damage, which is a KO on Sylveon GX, and it's a KO on Alolan Ninetales, as we've previously mentioned. Now, admittedly, Choice Band and 3 Dalmais outside of a metal deck is unrealistic, but inside of a metal deck, single energy, single prize Pokemon, KO on a GX, I'm liking this. And if you drop the Choice Band but keep the 3 Dalmais here, that's Granbull, that's White Kyurem because of weakness. I don't know if you're going to want to play 3 Dalmais. I don't know if you're going to want to take up the bench space. I don't know if you're going to want to take up the deck space. It really is a metal deck thing. But what I am saying is that if you are willing to play 3 Dalmais, you hit the numbers here beautifully. Single energy, single prize Pokemon. I know 40 damage seems a little bit low, but it's colorless energy, single prize Pokemon, and you can make it hit the numbers. That excites me. But the second attack is supposed to be the really good thing about this here, and I do quite like it. 2 metal energy, 60 damage. If you attached a Pokemon tool to this Pokemon from your hand during this turn, 130 damage. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 130 damage for 2 energy. And this hits the numbers. Sylveon and Gardevoir. You get a 1-hit KO on Sylveon and Gardevoir. And that tool doesn't need to be a Choice Band. What I really like the idea of here is Metal Core Barrier. Because the problem is, if you attach a Choice Band, yay! But then next turn, you can't attach another Choice Band or any other tool unless you Field Blower your tool or your opponent Field Blowers your tool. That is not ideal. So you attach Metal Core Barrier, you protect yourself from 70 damage next turn, and it falls off naturally, allowing you to attach another tool next turn. And then, the fact that you get a 1-hit KO on the best fairy Pokemon in the game, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, obviously it'll get stuff like Gardevoir as well, but it's Sylveon and Gardevoir about which we are primarily concerned here. And 130 is the key number for non-GXs, like Buzzwole, like Shining Lugia, like Giratina, that you're not hitting for weakness, which is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Now, you can get up to slightly better numbers here, because with a Choice Band you're up to 160, not ideal, and in a Shrine of Punishment you're up to 170, and there, ladies and gentlemen, is your Tapu Lele, and then we're back to the question of, are you willing to play Dalmais? Because if you're willing to play 1 Dalmais, hey, there's a KO on Rayquaza or Blacephalon. If you're willing to play 2 Dalmais, hey, there's a KO on a Buzzwole. If you're willing to play 3 Dalmais, hey, there's a KO on a Lycanroc. And okay, I know this is a little bit silly because one of them is probably going to be prized, blah, blah, blah. But if you're willing to play 4 Dalmais with a Choice Band, with a Shrine of Punishment, then you're up to 210 and Zoroark is going down here. Now, the attack cost isn't ideal, but it's not terrible. I mean, this seems just made for counter energy here. If you're behind on prizes, it's 2 of any energy, there you go. But it is only 2 energy at the end of the day, and we've got stuff like Solgaleo Prism Star that can be used here. I mean, an early game Solgaleo Prism Star can get like 1 energy on each of 3 or 4 Lucario or, you know, maybe Riolu if you haven't evolved yet. And then it turns into a single energy attack. Between counter energy and Solgaleo, I'm not too worried about the attack cost here. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll work out. The thing is, I really do like both these attacks here. I think Dalmais is more useful here than it has been for like almost any other metal Pokemon. It really makes a huge difference. And actually, while I'm talking about Dalmais, don't forget that you've generally got 60 or 70 HP basic Pokemon. I don't know, let's say Rockruff and Grubbin, just for argument's sake. And 2 or 3 Dalmais here, and you'll get a KO on them with Lucario. I don't know if you want to make a deck around it itself, although I do think there is certainly potential here. I do worry about it hitting up to Tag Team GX numbers. But then again, you can play other stuff if you really want to. But the fact that the colorless energy works, the fact that it's such a low-cost attack, both of them, and the fact that you really can hit the numbers makes me like this. I do think this is one of the ones where Dalmais is going to really make a difference, but I do not think it's Dalmais or bust. I'm going to give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. I really do think there's a lot of potential here, and certainly if you're playing Lucario GX, I think you need to put 1 or 2 of these in. I think it could make a difference. But ladies and gentlemen, I mean, don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric, obviously. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the point where I would like you to tell me what you think about this card. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the most important rule as always. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk Transformers and Keyforge and other fun things. But by far the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.